definitely.
Yeah, this was an ego
This
VOD.
one to
This
show
was
off.
an ego
This
VOD.
was an ego VOD. As he gets rolled by the
Ego
bat.
VOD. Ego VOD. All right. Well,
Into that. So yeah, to fill you in, Star Drummer is a hit. You knew this. He's a GM hit scan player, but plays all the hit scans apparently.
Yep.
So we're gonna be looking at some Widowmaker and Kree, which is good.
Nice.
Because I was just got done telling him that like the consecutive nerfs to Widowmaker made it so she's not as powerful on the maps like that she could be forced on, like outside of like the classic Widowmaker maps. So my tips for playing Widow was just like lock her on the maps that she is good because you can abuse her there, but the other maps are just going to be too close. And then unless you're like constantly bonking flankers with headshots, then which is not really reasonable and it shouldn't be expected of a Widowmaker player to do every time, then you're gonna have trouble. So Blizzard World First Point is one of those where it is actually a pretty good Widowmaker map, so it's good to utilize her here. Little cheeky little spawn jump kill
every time.
All right, so let's pause. Let's pause. Now, I do this for every character, every role, does not matter. You're playing Widowmaker, look at their team. What are some targets you're going to be able to try and kill? What is some threats to you? What are you going to have to look out for? Go through one by one.
So, Soldier is going to be trying to go for an off angle or flank, and if he's going to be playing front line, then I have to LOS him because he's going to melt me. Lucio's going to probably try to Reddit me, but if he's smart, he's not going to. He's going to play with the team and, speed his team. So I don't really have to worry about him that much. Zarya. What do I... I'm just going to kind of, ignore her. I mean, because, tanks...
She's
tanks
easy
I don't really need
headshots.
to go for her. Yeah, she's just for headshots.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not looking for anything particular, just it's just thoughts on the characters and what's going on there. Yeah.
So I want to make sure I don't shoot her bubbles.
Yep.
With Tracer, she's probably going to try to flank me, so I'm going to watch out for that. I already put the Venom mine in the very beginning there just to make sure she was going bottom right. She did. Baptiste, he's probably going to try to go for, crouch jumps, so I'm just going to try to headshot those. Maybe break clamps whenever I can. And Reinhardt, I just need to shoot him as soon as he drops shield.
Yep. Okay. Good. Now, taking all of this information into account, it's really important how you play the map and give yourself opportunities to hit shots. That's all Widowmaker coaching is. I'm going to help you get more opportunities to hit shots, and then you got to hit them because I can't coach you to click on them, but I can help you putting you in the position. So let's go ahead and watch it now.
Just before we start, Stardrummer, are you on your normal mic or are you mobile?
Oh, I'm on my normal mic. Is something wrong with it?
Yeah, it's sounding pretty crispy.
Is it better?
Yeah, that's way better.
Okay. Yeah, I think it might have been my fan causing interference or something.
All right, we roll with it. Whatever.
I don't know.
Chat is killing me. Oh, nice shot. Let's go.
Don't trust the bot.
Woo! Oh my God! Wait, he just picked this one to show off on stream, Jayne.
Star, did you win this one?
No, we lost. I threw 1v1ing the Tracer second half.
You know what? Right, let's give him the rewind on this. You know.
We'll give him the rewind.
Give him the rewind. Give him the
0.25.
Oh no, I need to fix my Widow crosshair. What is this? What? Oh, I accidentally pressed leave game. I'm out of control. I'm out of control. It was a Blizzard World game, right? You're just gonna be a robot for today?
Okay.
I can't fix it.
Yeah, well, you sound fine now. I don't really understand what's going on, but it's in character for you just clicking those two heads right there.
So. Yeah, it's the aimbot. Makes you sound like that. Oh boy.
I'm actually a cyborg, so it's built into my person.
Okay, so what I'm wanting to see you do here is push up. Your team's gonna take advantage of this, and then look for more picks. Take an aggressive position like this is good. Look for more picks. Obviously, don't die, but. Okay, good. Yeah, exactly. Now the Tracer did get okay. Oh, you're good. You're good. Team is there, so solid. Nice. Look for more picks. Probably not on the low ground here, but their team's pushing, so we're fine. And certainly nothing to really talk about right here. You're clicking on heads, and your team is playing well. Venom mine on the flank is good. Okay. Okay. It's a little scuffed there.
Yeah, my grandpa kind of
So, so pause right now. So let's go back. 10 seconds when you're backing up right here. So like, let's go overhead. So the team, they have established that you are on this right flank angle.
Yeah.
And now with that happening, it's really good to relocate. And you'll see the best like Widowmaker is like Carpe stuff. He's like constantly relocating after every single shot. You're now stacking with your team. There's now a Reinhardt. You need to be relocating somewhere to like give yourself another chance to shoot at them that their team is rotating in. So obviously you have to be careful of the tracer, but you could either back up to your own high ground or you can push to the left side. But you want to be relocating now as fast as possible. And your attempt, right, was to sort of go to that right high ground. But what was your idea there?
So I wanted to. So I saw, like, I mean, if you can go back, I saw the tracer go up to the top left, and I thought if I could grapple on, because I tried to grapple up earlier.
Yeah.
So I tried to get a cross angle on that tracer, because I feel like if I went in the back high ground, I wouldn't have had the same angle.
Okay.
So like right there.
So
Yeah.
in a world where you got stuck right up on these boxes on the right, and their team pushed in, what's going to happen to you?
I'm gonna be in their back line, and it's probably easier for the Lucio to just thread at me.
Yeah, it's not really the angle you want to be taking, right? That's like really close. Your soldier is going to be able to hit you. The Zarya is going to be throwing bombs at you. You don't actually want to be setting up on that top right high ground. So like the idea behind that grapple was not super great. Luckily, it kind of messed you up there. But yeah, so you see you're now not in a super nutty flank position or off angle. You're now stuck in their back line. Okay. Now I assume you're dead, probably. No, you got out. Okay, so this is like what sucks about Widowmaker, right? You don't get a pick before the fight starts, and then you lose the game. Nice shot though, on the Widow. So the only thing that I can see you doing better here is like as they're pushing in with your team on the right, you need to position quickly either in the back high ground or on the left side, looking for more picks. So let's go ahead and go on the attack. I think that yeah, switching the Kree earlier probably was the play just because you had a Genji, unfortunately. Like you just can't force it because you're just going to put so much pressure. You got to kill like 3 every fight, and it's just not realistic to like play Widowmaker like that. Right. Now you have a Hanzo, right? So what does this mean for you on Widow? You can slow down to like 0.25 or something.
I can ignore the front line more.
Yeah, he's going to have the front line damage. You're going to have a Sonic Arrow. Now you can go and look for picks. Oh, this is excellent. No, this is good. It's a really good swap for him. Oh, did you hear the Tracer? What are you, like, wall hacking? What? What?
Foolish girl.
So mid game, I was like, I came off of mid, and I was like, okay, for some reason I have a feeling there's someone top right. I wait for grapple, I go up there, B-hop, and it's this turning.
All right, this is the okay. He just chose this VOD to show off, Jayne.
I don't control the VOD submissions. What do you want from me?
But you played that well. You took the right side high ground when your team pushed left. But pretty good stuff. Good, and you hit the shots. You need to hit the headshot on the Ana there. I'm gonna tell you that much.
You know, I was completely baffled after hitting that shot.
That's crazy. You're a freak. I would have thought you were wall hacking if I was that Tracer. Like you came out that.
He's in chat. Actually, so. But Jayne, why are you so small now?
What? What do you mean?
Why are you so small on screen?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Perfect size.
Ah. Oh, I wanted that to be a headshot so badly. Nope.
Okay.
Dude.
What do you think about the team comp now, Star Drummer?
Our team comp or their team comp?
Their team comp.
They're going really divey. just to get on our back line.
No one can
Yeah.
hide
Because
from
they know
my
our tanks are
sight.
probably gonna be pushing up.
Do you think it's gonna be fun to play Widowmaker into that?
Hell no.
Yep.
Oh, it's gonna be painful.
Yep. So I would hope to see you swapping pretty quickly. you know, it's actually kind of funny. There's very few like VOD reviews where I'm like they come in to learn a character and then it's like, yeah, you should switch off this character, but like they have a ball and they have a tracer and they also have a diva, so you definitely want to be careful. So it's fine to take this another fight with sights, but if you start getting absolutely rolled on, you need to be very careful.
Like that.
Unlucky. Okay, so position like that, yeah, you should be considering switching. Though positioning wise, how do you? Let's just talk about this. If they're playing dive, okay, good swap. If they're playing dive, how are you going to make the most value of playing your character? Playing a sniper.
Play in the back, peelable by our supports, but don't play too far from them. And
Yeah,
don't play
well,
in the team.
Don't be playing in the team. You want to be playing far so that they have to use a ton of cooldowns to overextend and then get to you. Think
Right.
Junkertown first point. Widow can just play Junkertown first point on defense against any dive. It doesn't matter, and just sit as far back as she wants because if she's gonna get dove on, they have to come completely out in front of her, and she can shoot them all. That's why Widow is so good on first point. It doesn't matter what comp they play. It's so hard to play Tracer and get across that entire open space to the back. Like
Right.
Ball can, but like the rest of your team's going to be shooting him. So now think about how you can be playing on this map. You're going to be playing super far back, like in the corner around like the kind of like the info sign thingy that you like. Yeah, but not right here, like right next to the high ground where they can play on top of you. Right? You just get smacked up.
Right.
Like if you want to be doing this, you could be playing in the right room side, peeking out of windows there, or playing far back, like behind where the Protoss like sign thing is. But yeah, switching to McCree here is good. McCree is just the best thing against like Ball. So fortunate. Yeah, actually, chat just said it good. Play so safe that dive never comes, or when it does, a ton of cooldowns are used. It's a really good way to put that. And then look, you switched and you flashbanged the ball. Real fun. Good Overwatch. You switched to counter. Good stuff.
Team won the fight without me.
Really cool. Sorry, now you're playing the most busted character in the game.
Yeah. Still do nothing.
Not sure beat.
Okay. All right. Let me tell you something. Right now. Turn around real quick.
Drop facts.
All right. Let me tell you something right now.
Yikes.
Turning around and swinging around real quick and flashbanging sure looks cool, but you have no idea where the tracer is at. She could be to your left. She could be to your right. She could be behind you. She could be above you. Like behind you, while behind you. You have no idea. It sure looks cool the one time you hit it out of 10 times, but when you miss, that's exactly what happens.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
The only thing stopping the tracer from destroying you in a closed space is one, if you hit some insane shots, or two, your flashbang.
Right.
So unless you are 100% have the jump on the tracer, do not just throw your flashbang out at the beginning of the fight, because she is going to punish you like that.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah. I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Because like all you had to do was turn around and shoot at her, and she's gonna run away because she knows you have flashbang, and you wouldn't have died. The only reason you died is because you actually used it.
Right.
So one of my tips in the when I was coaching Saturday after the SmackDown, by the way, was just like have the McCree just hold your flashbang. Tracer's not gonna commit to you, and then okay, I don't know what you're doing. I think it's chat. Okay. Again. Okay. All right. You know what? You have that one. Cool. Good. I don't know. She would have recalled anyway if you just turned around and shot at her. But,
Yeah, I have a very bad habit of overusing stun abilities, especially when playing Ana.
okay.
there.
What are your thoughts on like High Noon?
Yeah, I'm
let's-
surprised we haven't
let's-
seen it already.
Yeah. So let's back up. So like, the ultimate High Noon, right? What do you think its best uses are for?
Zoning.
You want to like
Zoning
play
or
really
enemy
slow.
grab
Zoning.
combo.
Yeah. And what are you trying to do right now with the cart?
Keep them off of it.
Yeah, and you're trying to push it right to that shiny little area. And what tools do you have at your disposal to stop the team from stopping you?
I got a fat juicy flashbang and a big ult.
Yeah, you have an ultimate ability that literally stops them from pushing in. So, like for me, like this is just classic like win con recognition and usage of your abilities. Like you can win this game if you just High Noon and tell your team, and then you move the card in.
Right.
High Noon is at its best when teams are forced into it, or like so overtime, cart, these kinds of things. Like overtime and cart is like the only time High Noon becomes an ability that's actually extremely useful.
Okay.
So like this is the best time to be using the ability and you're not using it.
Right.
Yeah, so just I want you to recognize like how valuable it is to be using in this situation.
Gracious playing well.
Yeah, she is playing well. So you did throw out your flashbang a little early. I definitely think she would have played farther back if you hadn't used it. But when you did use it, you kind of got rolled. I think he's just getting a revenge for the headshot on first. I think you could have won this round already though if you had
With
used
the High
timing
Noon,
at
for
the right
sure,
timing.
yeah.
Yeah, at the right timing. Now it's just a little harder to pull off. Okay. All right. Pause. Slow down. Slow down a little bit. Pause. Let's think about this now. The Tracer is kind of going crazy.
Right.
So we may need to adjust our playstyle to be sort of a backline Baptiste sort of protector a little bit more. Just like babysit him, walk around with him, shoot the same things that he's shooting. Just always, I mean, a good thing. You're the same effective range as Baptiste, so like doing that in the first place is not a bad idea at all. So let's go into the next fights with that in mind.
Oh, you're Lucio. I want to have words with him.
Oh, yeah, that is brutal. We have no Baptiste. Oh my god. What is that?
That was a brain fart. They called out to grab Dragon and I bruised you.
Yeah, okay, that's okay. But I was saying more like the what was on my screen.
That was an interesting just series of
Oh
events
my
just in general.
God. Yeah. About had a seizure watching that one.
Like your BAP is there. Your BAP is
That's-
there. You're all in cover behind a wall, and your Lucio's like, "Let's beat!" And it's like,
Let's go!
why? You're like 50 meters away from them with a shield, let alone the cover. Beef, why? Why? Hang your head in shame, mister. But then you win anyway. It's absurd.
Masters for you.
Your BAP gets just back in time to lamp. Amazing. You win off that fight. What?
Beef saw through the Matrix. Jen, you don't understand
I
the level,
don't understand
level of Overwatch
high
that
level
Beef
Lucio
does.
play. You're right. I just don't get. I did not see the opportunity that Beef saw.
That's wild.
That is pretty incredible that this is almost Grandmaster.
Let me go back 10 seconds. So I'm going to nitpick things because, once again, you're getting to the point, right, where we need to nitpick things. As Kree, go forward. Right after they won the fight here. It's like right after they won the fight, you kind of push up into like almost their spawn sort of thing. Kree, your job is to make sure like things that are coming to point are dying. It's not your job to stuff the choke. Because you're at risk of dying, getting ran over by a tank or something. So like after this, like this fight, whatever, hit some good shots. I mean, you can speed up, Jayne, if you want. Like speed this up. Get this right here. You should be posturing, looking at both angles right now. Stop. Like not pushing like up like this. This is not your job. Your job is to sit back here, kill things as they're coming in. It's important. It's your tank's job to like be posturing in the chokes.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys won, and it's fine. I just don't want this to be a habit, right? Because if the card is a little farther back, and they all come out that one side, and they're gonna run you over, and you're gonna die. And then your like main hit scan damage is really important, right? Because sometimes Hanzo's are just gonna miss all of their shots in one fight, and this is not consistent damage is gone. And we really need you alive for like this kind of overtime like stall thingy. It's not overtime, but like when balls come out of the point, you need the Kree to do that kind of to do the damage to knock them out. So. Just one thing I did want to note here.
Right. Kind of get a little tunnel vision-y.
Just want you to understand, like, recognize what your job is to do there in the overtime or the push situation at the end.
Catch it with your face.
I was getting a little paranoid.
Am I still slow?
Yeah, you think you're a little slow.
Another poop.
That spot is just your nightmare, isn't it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just a series of whiffs. High octane gameplay.
Hey man, you got the opening pick on the Ashe. You did your job.
You got and you're
Almost
maintaining
did it
the
again.
pressure on that. Yeah, you're maintaining the pressure on the angle. That's the biggest thing. Like you also recognize like what Widow does by existing is like we gotta watch out for that lady over there. Like I can die to her, and so like they're kind of like sitting in the point, right? They weren't pushing out, even though they killed your Ryan. They weren't pushing out into like your Zarya and stuff. Mainly because okay, that was some DM. E8 Slayer is feeling it now. Yeah, no, you played that good. You got the pick. You held an aggressive angle that allowed your team to push into the point and eventually win. So that's good.
Yeah, just like it's the threat of flashbang or the threat of hook, the threat of a headshot is sometimes, I mean, it is very effective. You don't have to be hitting the headshots on Widowmaker. I know that, you know, it's like, obviously you need to prove that you can hit the headshots, but as long as the opponent believes that you have the ability of hitting them in the head, the threat of your existence makes them play differently.
Right.
Exactly. You've been hitting a few headshots this game, so like you are a threat. If you hadn't been hitting headshots at all, then you would be having troubles. They'd probably just be annoying you. Okay.
All right, you're just destroying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's totally. He definitely.
Yeah, this was an ego VOD. This was an ego VOD.
This was an ego VOD.
Ego VOD.
As he gets rolled by the back.
Ego VOD.
For sure.
This is something common I see like in overtime situations where like you get a little ahead of yourself. Like if you had just maintained the high ground there, you would have been fine. I mean, the BAP would have had to like really come at you to get on top of you, where instead you just dropped right down next to him and then died.
Right.
So then the ball. Fun. Countered by ball.
PogChamp.
You're gonna be in a really good spot to win the match now.
About that.
About that? How'd that go for you, Star?
Let's just say Tracer spawned. Uh-oh.
And now he's dropped onto you again.
Nice.
Cool.
Sniper
Cool.
stacking sight lines in Grandmaster. Nice to see. Good to see.
So good. It's so good.
What, egoing the Tracer?
All right. Okay. Yeah. This is.
All right. So this is more about. Not only is it ego bot, it's about the duels with the Tracer more than winning the game. I see.
Yep. Okay. Do I need to talk about this at all, Star Drummer, or are you good?
No.
All right. This is the only VOD where I hit some really nutty headshots, but then threw the rest of the game by. So we're gonna review.
I
this
wonder
one.
why you're not Grandmaster, Star. Something tells me it's not your mechanics.
It's my lack of brain.
I diagnose you
Yep.
with a oversized ego.
Yep. Okay. So look how long look how long you just spent looking at the tracer.
Like you just
Right? Like
ignoring
you literally
everyone
just
else
spent.
other than the tracer.
You just ignored like. Okay.
Spending like all my.
Okay. All right. No. This is definitely. How bad do you want to hit Grandmaster? I mean, if you're having fun doing this, like totally, like that's like it's really important, right? To like understand what your goals are and why. But if you're having fun doing tracers and masters, like by all means, man.
Oh. GM with the tracer.
Yeah, it's like your brain turned off.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what happened.
Overall, like I thought the positioning was pretty good. You're taking different angles. You understand you're not supposed to be stacking with your team most of the time, and then all of that went completely out of the window for the entirety of this defense. It's all gone. That was, I think, the first shot you took at someone other than the tracer the entire defense.
And it was a 3-minute defense too.
Oh boy.
Well, I think we cracked the code, Star.
Hit GM or hit the tracer.
One or the other. Oh boy, what is your peak SR?
Me?
Yeah. Oh no, the other person we're coaching.
Okay. I think it's 41.
41? Is that like 4096 or actually 41?
Star Drummer?
Hmm?
He's just gonna conveniently ignore that question.
Oh, you talking to me?
Yeah, is that a real 4100 or is it a 4096?
Like, the other guy?
You.
What?
Me? I'm so confused.
He was joking. He's joking about, no, the other guy we're coaching. You're the one we're coaching.
Oh.
Alright, this VOD
Yeah,
was
I'm
going well and then just went
4086.
off a cliff.
Bro, my body, my brain is off.
Are you trying to ego someone in chat again, or are you like... you,
Oh my God.
you're having deathmatch in Twitter DMs? Like, what's going on?
No, I'm spacing out.
You're spacing out? Alright, well.
Yeah. My ADHD is kicking.
Okay.
Alright.
No, you're good. You're good.
You,
No, you're good.
you Gucci. You Gucci.
But I'd like to point out that shot on the Sigma was actually after the match ended, too. So
So it doesn't count.
it doesn't even count.
It doesn't count. We only tried to duel the Tracer an entire round. So chat, the thing that I'd like you to take away from this VOD is that flaming people in chat and getting them off their game can be a convenient strategy for climbing. Just tilt the enemy team so they play like shit and focus on flaming you in chat instead of aiming at anything other than a Tracer. Big brain. Big brain.
Actual 5-head plays.
No. It's not gonna make you better at Overwatch, but it might win you a few games. So, write that down. Write that down. Teabag more to gain SR. Shitpost in chat to gain SR. Easy. As long as you can get them focused on the ego fight and not you, you'll win.
I mean,
Well-
I had another VOD if we want to like speedrun that one.
I mean,
9 minutes. It's not an ego VOD.
it's not an ego VOD? All right.
It's not an ego VOD.
All right, let's take a look at that one then. All right, Star. Oh, wait, you're on F11 now. All right. Yep, definitely not an ego VOD. Missed one shot. You're shit. Trash kid. You're dog water.
Okay. You're shooting through a Rhine shield. You're not. You think you're taking the most effective angle possible. All right, let's go. We're getting some high ground. We're getting some off angles. Good. Stop.
Same angle with Ash.
Okay. Well, whatever. You body shot her and she died. No. Stop. Pause. Stop.
When you're
So
saying
I'm very-
stop, I thought you were like being like, stop doing this, Star.
No. Pause. Sorry. It's both. It's both. I'm very passionate about King's Row. I've played the map a billion times. I've scrimmed it a billion times. Playing snipers on King's Row first is always strong for one reason and one reason only. Do you know what that is, Star
High
Drummer?
ground.
High ground, yes, is one part of it. But what makes the high ground strong? Like I'll just tell you because you might not know the words. Like it says lane control. So let me get overhead view. I don't have no epic pin, but let me get an overhead view of the point. So look at that left high ground by the statue. You have complete control over the point. You then can go into the little high ground right there, a little bit farther right there. Yeah, any of those high grounds on this right side, so good to set up a sniper because now you have complete control over the point.
And these
Your team
trees
has a
also
pick.
don't exist on low graphics mode, so.
Yeah, sure, exactly. So your immediate thing you want to be doing is obviously getting a little bit of health and then taking this high ground and setting up lane control because this allows your team to just walk onto the point for free, not poking through like Hotel trying to hit like a tiny headshot.
Yeah.
Or on the low ground where you're also 72 HP peeking with no HP.
Right.
Okay, so like that's the reason like Overwatch League was playing like Hanzo on this point. Because what you do is you just break their shield and you get high ground lane control and you shoot anything that comes to point. So you can do the exact same thing. You hit the shot here. So, but you could have done the same exact thing sitting on the high ground and then not be at risk of dying, as well as just like winning the point automatically.
Right. That makes sense.
He was on fire anyway.
Yeah, he was burning anyway. But it's okay. This is good. Taking these pot shots. Gosh, I remember. Holy flashback. Random thought years ago. I played Lucio for a team, and we scrimmed Team Liquid, and Kefri was filling in, and he peeked that window, and I was coming out of spawn, and I got my head blown off on Lucio. Random.
Ooh.
Oh my, sheesh. Nice. So like peeking those taking these angles is good. Oh
Not
my,
an ego VOD. All right,
not
get
an
out of here.
ego VOD.
It's not an ego VOD.
Yeah, if you would have died to that turret, I would have actually died. But like, so clearly, very clearly, you're about to lose a 1v1 with the turret. But very clearly, your mechanics are not the issue. Very, I think, obvious. I think Jayne can agree there.
Yeah, yeah.
That was ego peak there.
Head sights and everything.
You killed the Ana, at least.
Worthy trade.
So like, how do you think I would set up a cross angle here with my Ashe? Like on this point, like where would we split?
First off, I'd hope. I mean, in a perfect world, you wouldn't be playing Ashe Widow because there's no shield break.
Right.
You know, like, sorry, I'm gonna go again towards team compositions.
They also have an
So like,
shield.
or even like it would be like Widow Kree instead of the Kree is stacking sort of with the team being the shield break presence because the Ashe is honestly going to try and take the same angles as you. So that's really the issue. So you just take the angle, and if she's not on that angle, then if she's on that angle, then you look to take a different one. So like if she's on the high ground here, then you can kind of sort of play back behind your team or get to the left side or something. But yeah, so like playing sightlines, getting lane control as Widow here is really good. So setting up early, the way that you've done actually twice here with their team pushing back to the point is really good. Ashe's hat is like smushed onto her face. That was kind of cool. Okay, all right, go ahead. That guy is he is stoic.
Just standing there, not moving.
So this is great, right? You're getting shots. Oh, the ball just got nailed on top of you. That's a little unlucky. You're holding. You're holding fine. Couldn't have expected that to happen. That's sort of just one of those unlucky deaths. Okay. That was a good angle to be holding. So go next. When are you gonna use these sights though?
I think so. I think I realized we had like 4 minutes left, so I just didn't use them.
Okay, but they have a Widow. And when the best, I mean, surely as a Widow player, you know like the best time to use sights when sights is, right?
Yeah. When the other Widow pops in.
Okay. Not on offense though. Not on offense though. So the best time to do that to use is like to help your team, right? So you can use sights not just to kill other Widow. You can use it, right? For the best time is when you're pushing back in, like on a recontest or pushing in, because giving your team sights there will then give you sights of the Widow, so you know where she's at. But also your team knows like if anyone's on the flank, they can push them out. Something like that. So like when you're coming from a spawn, your whole team's pushing in here to King's Row for this third fight. You want to be popping walls to give everyone as much information as possible. You know where the Widow's at. You can take the duel, and everyone else knows what's going on.
Okay.
Now on defense, it's good to save walls for when their Widow pops it for this exact reason, because they're going to be pushing up, they're going to be getting the information. Then you can then counter by having that same exact information. Okay. Let's go back. I want to take look at the duel you took with the Widow specifically before I say everything's okay.
Risky ego grapple.
Okay, no. Okay, the Lucio saved you.
Yeah.
Because you just... Okay. How do I put this? Right? Like, if you're playing against a good Widow, right? And you take a shot and you miss, and then you grapple up into her line of sight where she's assumably charging up a new shot to shoot at you. You think that's a good idea? No. Okay. We agree on that situation there, then it's good. If you take a shot at her, you miss, you play line of sight and you back up. Unless she took a shot, then you can go for another shot.
Right.
Or if you're stuck in a situation where you're in her line of sight, you cannot get out of it. You are not scoping in. You are ADing. You are strafing. And you are trying to make her miss the shot. And as she misses the shot, then you're starting to scope up again to then hit your next shot. Right? Okay. Yeah. Good. I assume if you're a Widow main, you know how to do that. But I wanted to make sure that was the case. Good shots. You're still holding the walls.
Yeah, so this would be a great time to use walls, right? To see who's coming out which side.
Yeah. It would have been good now. It would have been good 15 seconds ago when you were pushing in. This is one of those min-max things that you want to be doing to like, these are the small things that you want to be doing that will help push you from Masters into GM consistently.
Right.
Because it's not your aim, clearly. Just absolutely destroyed.
Just my in-game momentary decision making.
Yeah, well, you're just game sense in general.
And it could also just be that you're really confident in your mechanics and you want to prove that, and maybe you want to get cool clips or ego VODs to share or anything like that, and you could just be going that to try and outplay people, right? Even when it doesn't make sense. And it's the same sort of thing where one of the reasons that one of the reasons that I probably didn't make it very far in semi-pro and never had a chance of ever going pro is because sometimes I find situations in games when I'm playing and I'd be like, it wouldn't be smart to do this, but you know what? It'd be funny. And then I do it, and I'm like, I died. I'm like, shit, didn't work out. But that one time it works, it's hilarious, right? And then it's kind of like you could be maybe in the same situation where it's like, it's not smart for me to do this, but if I outplay them, it would be cool, and it would be impressive. And I've got the mechanics to do that, so let's fucking try, right? So, there's an old saying that's like if two men end up in a fair fight, they both fucked up, and you're kind of like taking it one step further and trying to take disadvantaged fights, trying to win anyway to prove that you're the better player. But the better player would just take fights where they don't have to out mechanic the other person so brutally, and would just take fights in their favor. So, yeah.
Exactly.
I feel like I used to when I first peaked GM, I used to decide to do that a lot because I feel like if I just played normally, I would get outplayed. So I'd try to just play the way they wouldn't expect me to play, which is super up in their face. And I feel like the more I played like that, more I played with the intention of egoing the other player, the more it just became natural. So then I didn't decide to do it. It
was your playstyle?
Right. Yeah. And then that just I became unconscious that I was. Well, I became conscious that I was doing it, but not actively deciding to.
And it's one of those things where if you do spend a long time on that playstyle and that becomes your better playstyle, your other playstyles are going to be less developed. So maybe it's like the safe Widowmaker playstyle for whatever reason. This is just theoretical, right? But it's like, let's say that you got to the point where you just scratched Grandmaster with like an ego playstyle. And then potentially, you have the ability, if you played a really team-based, like risk-reward style Widowmaker, maybe you could peak 42, 43, 44. But when you're first starting out to try that playstyle, because you're not used to that playstyle and you haven't put nearly as many hours into that playstyle, at the start, you're going to be a worse player. While you're still learning that, maybe you're only going to be a 36 or 37 level Widowmaker. But over time, it's going to have a higher peak potential that you could reach to. But transitioning into that playstyle, you do have to accept that you're going to play worse. It's like you've invested a lot of time and effort into a worse playstyle, kind of like a playstyle with a lower potential ceiling. Even though the playstyle that in the short term you're going to be less effective on is the one that over the long term has the higher potential skill ceiling and SR peak. So it's like if you are ever trying to like make that switch, a gigantic switch in playstyles, you do have to expect that you're probably going to drop 300-400 SR while you're learning it, because you're not going to be able to just switch playstyles on your hero, especially if you've been so committed to one of them, and be able to perform at the same level and in the same lobbies that you are on your main playstyle.
Right.
Yeah, I completely agree with what Jayne said. Like, right, because you're gonna get to Grandmaster, right? You're gonna get these players that are mechanically strong and are then taking as many advantages as they can into the duels. And if you're not taking advantage of those things at like the highest level of play, you're just gonna get outplayed.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, the next step above that is like you're still at the point where, once you get to the point where people are both mechanically skilled and they want all of the advantages possible, then it becomes into the game of, instead of, even at this elo, even at like high masters, low grandmaster, you still get the point where you're really punishing unforced errors. But once people know what the optimal situation is and both are trying their hardest, that gets into like you're playing in a way to force the opponent to play where they're disadvantaged instead of one person choosing to fight at a disadvantage, like forced versus unforced errors. And that's kind of like the level that you get to after both people are peak mechanically skilled and knowledgeable enough to try and take the duel where they have the advantage instead of the opponent.
Right. Yeah. And that makes sense.
Yeah, no, so I had an idea for a segment I hadn't talked to you about where I some matches against Overwatch League players. It was pretty funny. It was literally 5 Overwatch League players plus Deadly on a team. It was like stand one. It was stand one, Hanbing, Sparkle, Jake, and like Jesse or something. And it's just like when you can't feel it, but like the atmosphere of the game gets put on a different level from when you're just playing a regular like 4200, 4300 game than when you get put in a game with those players. And it's like, it's hard to explain like the level that these people are playing on, and that you can even play a ranked game with them is just crazy. So
Right.
like this with stuff that Jayne is saying, like they will force you to make mistakes that you just wouldn't think are going to happen. And like for you to improve as a player is not to be grapple shotting out in the open when they have a Widowmaker setting up on the high ground.
Right.
And this is a good example of what Jayne said. This is like, you just made this mistake on yourself. Like,
It was unforced.
you did this yourself.
Nobody forced
It
you
was
to grapple up.
not forced.
Right.
Yeah.
There's also one of the other phenomenons that I've encountered with coaching is that some people play better when they respect their opponents. So if you're talking about like, egoing Geoffrey or something like that, it's like, you're probably going against that and trying really hard and taking every advantage because it's Geoffrey, he's good, and you're going to need those advantages to beat him. Where I've had some people go on a loss streak. Like just recently, I was coaching somebody, and they started playing. They were trying to get to Masters, and they fell all the way into Platinum and then almost touched Gold. And talking to them, the thing was that like they were mad that they were playing with such shit teammates and such shit opponents, and they were like disrespecting them and trying to just like go in and kill everyone as if they had double the HP and double the damage. And they're like, they would go in and try and like really just ego these like Platinum players because they're like, I'm about to touch Masters. Like, fuck you, plebeians. You suck at this game. And because they didn't respect their opponent, they didn't work on any of their fundamentals. They weren't doing anything on a team-based perspective, and they kept losing. And the more they kept losing, the more they kept disrespecting their opponents, the more they kept playing off script, off everything that they were working on, and the more they just like kept losing. So,
Right.
you know, if that's kind of like a trick that you can use, is that it's like, you know, it's just respect your opponent. You know, just play like every single opponent is like Glister, or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Right. Yeah.
Like, how would you play if the opposing Widow was Glister compared to how it was just like some random Masters DPS, right? You'd play it a lot differently because you'd put a lot of more respect on their name and their abilities. And if you played as if the opponent is Glister, even when they are a Masters Widowmaker, they're not going to have a fucking chance.
Right. Yeah. No, I had a period of time like a couple months ago, because I kind of stopped playing the game for a while because of school and other things. But I had a period of time where it'd be like 1 week I'd peak into like 40, 50, and then the next week I would completely lose sight of the fact that I was actually trying to play like I don't know what happened, but I got into my head for like a full week, and then I drop, and then the next week I would realize that okay, I'm gonna like get into the zone, respect every teammate that I come across, and then I respected him, and then the next week I lost sight of it again, and it was just this cycle of just respecting, not respecting, respecting, not respecting, and I don't really know how to just keep that consistent.
Yeah, it's
Post
going
a
to be
note.
up to you.
Right.
Post a note
Post a note.
and making and
I'm
putting
gonna use
that.
that.
What Jayne said, just putting that as the thing, like respect your opponent and make that like what you're working on. Like
Right.
it's important to work on one thing. I think over the years, like as coaching, one of the things I've really tried to work on is like giving concrete goals to like the players that I'm coaching and not overloading them with so much information. And so like
Right.
because I think as a player, it really helps to have one thing to work on at a time, and you knock those things out, and then your brain will consciously do those things as you're playing, and then you can focus on new things. Right. So the thing that you need to be working on is like respecting your opponent and not egoing, taking the advantages that you can take. Like, don't take a fair fight. Because trust me, when I play Tracer, I play dirty. Like, I am in the back line. I am getting every health back. I am not taking like the fair 1v1 with the Tracer, like at all. Like, you're going to catch me like on every single health pack and then in their back line and then on the health packs again and then their back line until they just have no chance. Like, you can't just take an ego duel with someone because odds are, like, especially in GM, they're gonna have just as good of mechanics on you, and then you're gonna lose. So respect your opponent. Don't ego. If you work on that, I definitely see you improving as you have the mechanics to play at a high level, in my opinion. Like 4200 plus, at least Widowmaker wise. So.
You told him not to ego, and then you inflated his ego.
Yeah.
That happens every time. I swear.
Star, you're shit.
Thank you.
And unless you change, you're gonna fall back down to diamond.
I'm already.
Go ahead, try and prove me wrong.
Let's go.
Try and prove me wrong. Go ahead, try and do it.
All right,
You know, until you hit 4200, my opinion of you is gonna be that you're a shit, worthless player.
Thank you.
Just prove me wrong. I dare you.
Finally told me.
Not gonna happen. Do it. I expect 4200. And by expect, I mean you're never gonna touch it because you're not good enough.
Oh, of course. Yeah, no, I'm garbage.
Yep. Chat knows it. I know it. Deadly knows it. He's just being nice. So.
I was happy to have some like high level DPS play to review. I'm happy that that's what you went for. I was wondering. I mean, I figured that you guys were going to get DPS players because my passion is DPS, but obviously I coach everything. I've coached at Pico. I've coached literally everything from silver to top 500 tanks and support.
No bronze VODs yet? We got to get you a bronze VOD.
I haven't got a bronze VOD. I legit have not got a bronze VOD.
But
just
I
silver.
think you're the best DPS coach of the Pico coaches. So definitely.
Oh, if I wasn't, I'd be grinding to be the best.